What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, Strength About Him podcast, number one podcast, Mental Health and Wellness. I'm Anthony.
I'm Barron.
Welcome to the show. Welcome back for another week. My boy, how is your week going?
I am having a productive week. I love being productive. I love being having multiple things to organize and take care of. So productive week. I'm excited. I only see great things for us. We're gonna be
point and claiming, huh?
Yep, point and claiming. So I see great things for us as long as we tighten up our discipline.
Yeah,
we're gonna tighten up our discipline.
yeah,
So yeah. But other than that, great week. How's your week?
Ups and downs,
Typical week.
shifts, hurdles, life stuff that you got to navigate through, fight through. I don't believe it's anything unique to me. I think it's unique to being human and, fighting through and walking through different things, but like you said, it's stuff that we will get through. But part of that is being back here, being here. And this is the therapy that helps me, to talk. So today's topic is how to become a man of value.
How do you become a man of value?
Yeah.
Well, let's break it down. You can't become a man of value until you discuss what value truly is.
Right. That was what is value?
What is value to you? A lot of people feel value is, what you've accomplished, what success.
Yeah.
Value versus success, people put them on the same level. It's not. It's really not. It's what do you believe in internally, outside of the noise? What's your core focus? What's your core for? What's your personal core for? And then the hardest part is living it. Living it. Actually knowing what you stand for and knowing what you won't stand for.
Right.
I think is a great sense of value. And I honestly don't think you learn that until you become older, until you become seasoned in this thing we call life, because if you're younger and you say what you never do, you can never say that. I don't know if I would call him a mentor, and when I was younger, but he was an older gentleman in my life, and he would always tell me never say never, because when you never say never, you've already said never twice.
Right.
Break it down. So it was like, never say never, never say what you're not going to do, never say what you aren't going to do, because you don't know what could happen. You don't know how your values may change. You don't know what could change in your life. Your perspectives may change. So never say never. But I think that's when you're younger. When you get older, there's a lot of things that you'll never go back to. You should never go back to doing it. And so therein lies your values. What do you stand for? What are your some core values? What do you believe in? Because if you don't believe in anything, you've heard this one before, you fall for everything.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to be comfortable in saying no as it pertains to your values and who you are, and not be afraid to say no, because I believe in the word no requires no explanation.
Right.
It's just we say protect our peace, but it's also to maintain our values. It's also to maintain our core values and who we are. And it may be weird to a lot of people, but it is what it is.
Something I thought about what you just said, you got to say no, right? It's okay to say no, and no need no explanation. But also saying no to yourself, not to other people. Right, because sometimes you gotta say no to yourself because you want to do certain things, you want to say certain things, you want to be in certain places, but because you get to a point where, even me, it's like I've been there and still walking through this. Is that you want to be the person that pleases and helps everybody, but you're just one person, right? It's just you, and when you're getting pulled in so many different directions, you have to say no to yourself because you are the one that's out there making sure that every touch point is made, and every time you don't have the capacity to do that every single time, every single day, right? So I think for me is saying no to myself before I send this to someone else, because if it's to myself, then I know that, hey, this is my standard, and I think that's where value comes in, is being able to know what you need to do. And a man of value, I see, is a man that walks through the pain, walks through the hard stuff. And I know money is a factor, but I think that money is a result of you being a man of value,
Right.
right? It doesn't actually give you the value, you know,
Right.
in a sense, but it's a result, because I believe that value is a personality trait, it's a spiritual trait, it's a mental trait, it's a physical trait, and it's financial trait. It's all five, right? So I believe that if you have all five, then you are truly a man of value. But for this podcast, let's like just stick to the mental, spiritual side, because I think that's the one that has kept me to not achieving everything I want to achieve in life. Right? Is that mental block? Right?
So if that's the case, then we always have to figure out why.
Right.
Like, why is there a block? Why is it so tough for me to get over this hurdle? Why do I keep falling for the same pitfall over and over again?
Yeah.
You know, that's the question we ask ourselves, and that more importantly, if we keeping it a buck, we can ask that question 1,000 times and never answer it.
Right.
Because maybe we either are afraid to answer it, or are just scared to look in the mirror and just say, I'm weak at this. How do I get stronger in this? How do I?
Isn't that an answer though?
It is an answer,
Yeah.
but now you have to walk in that answer. Remember, knowledge isn't power.
Yeah.
It's application. So you have to apply what you know into making better results and making better choices. So we were just talking about that a couple of weeks ago when we were saying every negative thing that happens to us in our lives is there to provide information.
Yeah.
So it's there for us to see what the problem is, extract what we need from it, and move on or move forward. So it's just like if we're walking a path and we see this same pitfall of mud. There's a puddle of mud that we're gonna walk in, and we just got some fresh white ones on, and we just gonna walk through the mud. Oh, the first time it happened is an accident. We know it's there, and we're just gonna keep walking, and we come back the next day. The puddle is still there. We hit the same puddle every day. We didn't learn nothing from day 3. We didn't learn nothing from day 1 through 3. We didn't, so either we're gonna park somewhere different, walk another path, or jump over that puddle. Hopefully it dries up, but it's a puddle. A puddle is exactly what it's supposed to be. A small pool of water.
Right.
It's doing its job. It's up to us to either keep stepping in it and messing up our shoes, or stepping over it, because I'm not gonna mess up my shoes too.
You been watching me over the past week? You been watching me?
Nah, it's called in tune. That's what it's called. It's called being in tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if we keeping it a buck, men of value, to become a man of value, that's not easy. It's not.
Man, it's not.
It's
easy.
not something that I have value now, so my life is easier. No, it's not easier. The easy part. This is doing the easy parts. Setting the boundaries. Setting. This doesn't fit my mode of operandi, which is my mode of operation. It doesn't fit how I do business.
Yeah.
I can put an example like this. Lowe's doesn't do business the same way as In-N-Out. They do business completely different. They probably do similar things as far as once a year they probably do inventory, take stock. They still have employees that they pay, benefits and stuff the same. But I guarantee you their mode of operandi, how they do business, is completely different. How they run their operation is different. So every man of value is going to be different. We're not going to have the same walk, but the commonality is certain things that don't fit how we do business in our business. So it's like, okay, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. You mentioned saying no to ourselves. I would argue to say that no, you cannot please everyone all the time.
Right.
So why try?
Because there's a point. There's a point in your mind. Well, I know for me, thinking that you can and still get things done, but I believe that that is a what's the right word I'm looking for? That is and this is a term I just made up, a self-esteem disorder, okay, or a confidence disorder, because I think like for me, I try to prove myself and prove that I can do all these things because maybe I was lacking, and I'm thinking, well, if I do this here, it will make up for what I experienced here. So I believe when someone tries to do everything, be everything, and knowing that they really can't, knowing that something's going to suffer, I think that's a lack of confidence that a person has.
Do you feel it's a form of self sabotage?
100%, and I believe at times it can be both conscious and unconscious sabotage, right? Because if you're doing all these things, say you do all these things, like for me, I paid a bill last month today, right? And the bill already came up again. Like it's already a month later. I'm like, man, that month went so fast, right? And it's like that month went so fast, but everything I wanted to accomplish, I didn't accomplish, because you know a person by their fruit, right? You know you know what you the work you put in by the result.
Right.
I'm like, well, over this past month, I didn't achieve as much fruit as I wanted to, but I'm doing all these activities. I'm going here and being here and doing that, and I think it is what I think. I know it's a form of self-sabotage, but it's something that a person has to recognize. A person has to be more confident and saying no and not doing certain things, because you know that, for example, it's like, my daughter, she wants to go to college in New York next year, right? She want to go way across.
She fell in love with New York,
right? New York. So, and I'm thinking about, her life and my life, and like, how can I, show her and tell her, about life. I'm like, what are some things I can do? So I'm like, you know what? Everything that I evaluate my life from, I'm gonna talk to her, right? So we're driving, and she's been a little bit frustrated and stressed out about getting up to New York, and
and how old is she again?
She's 17.
Okay. Young adult.
So I told her that I'm thinking about me, right? Like I'm doing X, Y, Z, A, B, C, right? I'm doing this, and I'm like, well, if what I'm doing, what I'm saying what I'm thinking is not pushing me toward my goal, then I can't do it, right? And I told her that, because that's the reality of it. However, I have to be in a point where I'm moving and showing her that versus telling her that, right? And there's been a lot of fear that I had to push through, and it's really interesting when you have a fear you got to push through, how difficult it is, right? Because most people, okay, you know what? I speak about myself. I'm afraid of fear. I'm afraid of fear, right?
Afraid of fear?
Afraid of fear, right? So,
Okay.
no, I'm sorry. Wrong. I'm afraid of pain. Okay. Right? So I heard this story a while back.
I got so many questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I had a story a while back. And the story was that it was probably in an analogy or a movie. I don't know, but I heard it. So there was a coach. He was training his athlete, right? And he was pushing him, and the athlete fell to the ground, exhaustion. Coach walks up to him and says, "Are you hurt?" He was like, "No." He's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, it hurts, but are you hurt? No. He was like, "Well, son, the fear of the pain is just going to keep you from achieving your goals," right? Because he was running so hard, but everything's burning, right? His legs are burning, so he collapses. And that reminded me of myself. It's like there's so much pain that this life brings, because whether you live a perfect life, which you're not or not,
Right.
they're going to be hurdles.
Right.
There's going to be pain. There's going to be setbacks, right? But most people don't achieve what they want to achieve because they're in fear of the pain of going through that pain, and that's in I've been there, right?
And so
So many questions. Go ahead.
I look at like, what's the problem with pain? So pain is temporary, and maybe it's just because
It's temporary, but your mind doesn't tell you that. Your mind doesn't tell you it's temporary.
So, and that's where I'm going with that. Like, I think maybe it just became from like my sports background, pain and spiritual background. Pain is relative. Pain doesn't last. So if I know it doesn't last, then I personally must try to outlast that pain.
Right.
And I know I'm hurting now, but I'm not gonna hurt forever. So I just gotta keep pushing through.
Right.
Because, and this is where, and then we're tying it back into being a man of value.
It's good.
Yeah. It's so I know that pain is temporary. I know that I'm going to hurt. I know I'm going to be uncomfortable. I know that I'm going to damn near want to quit. I know that. But in order for me to get that over there, I got to go through this shit right here.
Right.
So, fine. And I'm just competitive too. Maybe I'm just competitive. Like, I look at pain as like, okay, you're not going to stop me from doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
Perfect example. And we shoot the pod. This is what makes us the #1 podcast for mental wellness, because we share personal shit. I have a major pain in my groin area. Like, it hurts to walk and everything, like right now. But, Mondays are my basketball day. You think I didn't go play ball? I went to play ball Monday because I can still run. I can still move. It just hurts when I get up. So don't sit down when you go to the gym. Just don't sit down. That was because my goal is to go play ball. Because, and I'm going to take you down this weird train of thought process that I have. If I don't go to the gym the way I want, the least my ass could do is go play ball.
Right.
To maintain myself. It's, we've talked about it. That's between those 4 lines is my place of peace.
Yeah.
So going to play ball and ignoring this pain because it's temporary, I'm gonna go get it checked out. I'm gonna go get it looked at, but it's not gonna stop me from doing that because I feel that I am bigger than the pain. Right. I feel that I am stronger than the pain. You may hurt. I may be down. I may get down to one knee, but I'm not gonna fall. Yeah. That's how I look at pain, and I look at that with everything, whether it's handling multiple things at one time, which I don't truly necessarily believe in, but in order to get things done, you got to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm doing here. This is the goal for today. I don't know what the goal for tomorrow is going to be. Yeah. I'll let tomorrow worry about itself. This was my goal for the weekend. I know Sunday, boom, I have this. I got to discuss the November 6th with you. November. So it's like, these are things that when you are a man of value, it is subjective on how you live your life. But the commonality is that you know what you stand for, and more importantly, you know what you are not going to stand for. So by saying no to yourself, I'm going to say no to pleasing everyone first before I tell myself, no, I'm not doing this because I'm doing this for somebody else. Because what happens is what happens if I have 100 people that need me for something, and I say, okay, here's a little bit of me, you. Here's a little bit of me for you. Here's a little bit of me for you. Here's a little bit of me for you. Even though we might not even be in perfect alignment. Right. You may be working on, this person may be working on something that I may not necessarily agree with, but it's, you ask me, I don't say no, here's a little piece of me for you. Now, when pain in my hip. Oh, I can't, I'm not going to go to the gym or I'm not going to go play ball because I just don't have it in me.
Yeah.
I just don't have it in me. Now I'm hurting myself. Everybody else got what they wanted. What happens when you give a piece of yourself to everybody, you don't have nothing left for yourself.
So this is the thing, bro. And I'm gonna just speak what's on my mind. I think it's different, right? I believe the physical pain is different than the emotional pain, right? So I believe that the scars that you can see are easier to heal than the scars that you can't see. I believe that like your hip or your ankle or your foot, you know how to get through that. You know that if I ice, if I stretch, if I do this,
it's a different type of pain.
It's different type of pain.
Yeah.
It's different. It's like we have the emotional pain. It's the unknown, right? You're not sure. You're sure you're not sure, right? You're not sure like how I'm going to get through this because in a sense you're not in control. In a sense you are, but in a sense, right? So when you're going through the emotional pain, it's like, man, I don't know. I can't see. I'm helpless because I'm in the unknown. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Versus, once you're through it, because I'm sure the first time you sprain your ankle, you're like, man, I'm not sure how I'm gonna figure this out. But once you did it, got through it, then you know the remedy, right? And you were able to recover faster. So I believe that emotional pain is something that for me has been more gripping on who I am because I've never been through that before, like that extreme. But once you're through it, and you won't go through it again. But I just believe that it's a bit and I can be wrong, I can be off, but I believe that emotional pain is something different, or it's harder to recover from versus the actual physical pain.
So it's definitely different. There's levels to pain. It's still pain nonetheless, but there's levels to pain. I use that as an analogy as far as physical pain, but it's still the bottom line is knowing who you are through the rainbows and through the storms. Like however mental the mental grip is, like that because of who I am in my very core. Sometimes you just got to get to who you are in your core, and this is what this is how you become a man of value. Because we're not saying that, again, that just because you're a man of value that the shit's not going to hit the fan, that you're not going to go through stuff.
Be more.
You're going to go through stuff. You're going to, in a sense, what was this comment someone told me is the greater your love for the Lord, the greater target you are for the devil.
Right. It's good.
So that just means like whoever you are at your core, if you are a person who is lost at your core, the slightest hurdle is going to set you off.
Right.
If you are a man who doesn't believe in nothing, you have nobody to pray to, you have nobody to counsel you, you have no village.
Yeah.
You are lost.
Yeah.
You are not going to make it in this thing called life. You're either going to hurt yourself or you're going to allow the world to take you out.
Right.
But when you stand for something, when you believe in something, who you are, simply put, a man of value, who you are is who you are when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
When the lights are off, when you look at yourself in the mirror and nobody's around, when you lay your head on the pillow and these thoughts are running through your head, that's who you truly are. Now, the things that come with it, the hurdles, the things that life throws at us is going to hit us. How do you handle it based on who you are? How do you handle it based on, do you succumb to the pitfalls, or do you say, yeah, I fail. Yeah, this is hard, but I know I'll get through it. I know I'm smart enough to get through this. I know that positive affirmation. You got to talk to yourself. I know that this isn't bigger than me.
So for statement question, right? when a person goes through that, because I believe that, of course, there are levels of knowing, right? And when a person goes through something and they know they will get through it, they know. What is your take on when someone's going through their struggle and they, in a sense, backslide? Like, oh man, I messed up. I messed up. So, because a lot of times that can take a hit on your mentality. Because it did for me, right? It did take a hit. Many conversations we've had, I'm like, damn, man, you know what? I messed up, right? But that doesn't stop you from wanting what you want. But how far do you think that puts you back?
That's subjective, because it's all depending on, again, the core of our message, the core of everything that we speak about, everything that we do. It has to deal with who you are, who you truly are. I don't know, a perfect person in your life. One perfect person in your life. Somebody that's perfect, 100%.
Jesus.
Well, outside, on this earth that
No.
one perfect person.
No.
Me neither. I don't know anybody. You guys know a perfect person in your life that's just perfect? No. It's because nobody's perfect. So if we quote unquote fall or slip or backslide or whatever, acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Give it what it needs. Okay. And then again, why did I backslide? Why did I do this? This is why I always ask why. Like, why did I backslid. Yeah, I felt like shit. Yeah, I got off track. Yes, I did all of that. We always say give ourselves grace.
Right.
We give each other, we give other people grace.
Right.
We make excuses for our coworkers, our kids, spouses.
Right.
Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they had, maybe it was a rough day at school. Or we make excuses and we give other people grace. All I'm saying is, can we give ourselves the same grace?
Right.
Can we give ourselves the same grace? That doesn't, if we all fell short, we all fallen, we've all slipped, we've all fell. But that's part of my foundational piece.
Yeah.
We all have fallen short.
Yeah.
When nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
That doesn't diminish who I am as a person. That doesn't diminish my value as a person. No. If anything, I acknowledge that I'm human. I mean, it happens. I'm human. Nobody's perfect. I fell. I've stepped in the puddle again.
Yeah.
I stepped in a puddle of mud again. I got off track. Maybe I was looking away and I got sidetracked. So what did that teach you? Not to get sidetracked, to get a little bit more focused. Maybe your focus was at 90%. Now you need to crank that focus up to about 95. Because ultimately you ask yourself the question, what do you want? What do you want in life? You put that question, that's at the top of the wall. What do I want in life? Boom, it's up there. Now, how do I get there? There's steps to that. So you break it down. Like, in order for me to get there, I got to do this first.
Yeah.
And then once I get this, then I'll move up. Then once I get this, I'll go here. Then once I get up, I'll get here. You see where my eyes have went? I have yet to look up and to see the main goal. All I'm looking at is down here and trying to figure out the necessary steps to get to the next level. Not to get to the finish line. We are humans. We're made to. Nobody I know was born and started walking and talking right away. Nobody came out the womb talking about, hi, my name is Barron Benjamin and I'm such and such and I'm going to go catch the bus. No.
Right. You
You had to crawl and then you started walking, and then once you walk, you still fell.
Yeah.
So you didn't master walking. When you started to speak, no one was speaking like, hi, this is Truth About Us. We're a number one part. No. We were gaga, goo goo, ma, dad. So it had to. These are facts. These are we're meant to grow. We're meant to. It's a process to this thing. So know where you want to go. Now go down and figure out, how do I get there? And then you focus on that. Are you going to stumble?
Yeah.
Possibly.
So what I'm hearing is that it's not the mistake, it's what you do after the mistake.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
So
or choice, and the choice you made.
Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, E40, everybody got choices.
Yeah.
Everybody got choices. Everybody makes mistakes. But now, what do we do? Do we live in a mistake, or do we get better and make that mistake? Remember, every negative thing happens in our life teaches us a lesson.
Right.
So what did we learn?
Right.
You know, what did we learn? And are we gonna just be foolish enough? And I think I'm smart enough to not make the same mistake. I try to not make the same mistake twice. I try. Do I do? I probably do. I probably do if I really think hard enough. But I don't focus on my mistakes. I focus on where I want to go.
Right.
And I know if it's going to take work to get there, then damn it, I'm about to get that work in. You know.
I like that. I think that a big part of being a man of value is one, admitting where you are, right, and not letting fear keep you from making the same choices, right?
Well, you got to look at fear like, fuck fear. I know you're gonna be there.
Yeah,
you're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also. I believe a man of value is not a man that's a coward, right? And I believe that when you try to avoid certain pains as a man, avoid certain fears as a man, that puts you in the coward category. You can't have value if you're so afraid to. I mean, even the Bible says, we walk through the valley of shadow of death, right? We don't actually sit there. So I believe that a true man of value has been through some unbearable pains, so he thought the time, right? And he comes out because honestly, every man of value that I see, I mean, it can be people like on the streets, mentors, people in my network. They've achieved some major goal in their life, right? But when you're talking to them, I had to go through this to achieve that. I'm like, really? And then if you're into like YouTube and personal development and all of that, you hear how these speakers talk about what they've been through, right? And I see people, right, who I have friends and colleagues and associates that I have men that used to call me in tears about, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. This is the worst thing. And it's like, but look at them now. They're on the other side. And
let me ask you this real quick. The guys that you are speaking of, how massive are their egos?
Massive.
Really? Is it enough because, sometimes your ego can be disguised as cowardice. Hear me out. Your ego is trenched in survival.
Right.
It's only there because if I want to move to a certain level, my ego is going to hold me down to a certain extent because it's going to tell me, that's unknown. You don't know. Cowardice. We don't know if you go out. If you go out and do that, you might fail. You might fall. Look at all you've accomplished so far.
Right.
You're the man right now in this space. Why would you leave this space to go there? You don't know nothing about that. So why would you do that? If I was you, I wouldn't do that. I mean, we know where we at right now. We know all the ins and outs. We own this space. So our egos can sometimes keep us stagnated and keep us from progressing. Every person that I look up to are humble as shit.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is they are, the credit that they give themselves, they're like, bro, I wouldn't be nothing without this person, that person, my wife, my kids. I'm the way they push me, the way they counsel me when I doubt myself.
What if you don't have that?
Then you need to find it. then you need to find it because
That simple, huh?
yeah, because it and it's truly that simple. Because
It's there though. Yeah, I mean, you gotta look for it.
yeah, it's there. You have to look for it, and you can't allow your ego to keep you from being present.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say vulnerable. To be present in how you feel with the people who you look up to, or there's nothing wrong with telling someone, "Hey, I look up to you," or I like the way you do this. I like the way your thought process when it comes to this, and that's when you realize, okay, in order for you to go somewhere you've never been before, wouldn't you want to find somebody who's done it or who's been in that space?
True, and that's why I brought the example of like guys who used to call me. So for privacy, we don't call him Jay, right? Okay. Jay married 12 years, right? His wife left him, right? Left him, moved out of state, and he would call me crying and just like hysterical about his wife is gone. He's not sure what to do. I mean, this is like, I've never really experienced a grown man crying until me and Jay connected. It was just, I mean, it's like just like bawling, right? Fast forward 3 years later, he walked through the pain. He went through it. It broke him for a while, but now he's with someone who says that, man, this is the best experience ever, because now I'm with someone that I can say that we truly love each other. Of course, there are going to be challenges there too, and he said that. But he's like if I would never went through what I went through, I wouldn't be on the other side, and that's the key, is getting to the other side. And once you do that, once we do that, I know your life will be what you want it to be. But again, it's just getting through that. And I don't believe that we should have a false sense or fake confidence, fake self-esteem. If you know you're struggling with that, you're like, you know what, this is tough. Right. It's just hard. And I also believe that that's why you have a brotherhood, right?
A village.
Because we don't talk, and if you remember, for many conversations we had, I'm like, damn, I wasn't gonna tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you because that's not what we do. We don't talk, but when you talk about it, it makes you feel better, and when you talk about it, it shows you that people actually still love you and care about you and want to see that you do well. Hold your butt to the fire. Yeah, but make sure that you do well. So I believe that's all part of becoming a man of value.
It's funny when you said that broke him. I was listening to that, and it broke him. And let me see, what's the best way to put this? When Staples Center was built, when SoFi was built, they had a groundbreaking ceremony first. It looked like shit. It didn't look like it didn't look like what it looked like. You had the groundbreaking ceremony first. So you have to break completely. You have to crack the foundation completely to regrow, to re-pour the foundation, to strengthen up who you are. So if it breaks you, great. Great.
But I think that's what people are afraid of, the breaking part. That's the pain, because breaking is pain.
Yeah.
Right? So
but it's just pain.
Yeah.
It's just pain.
I hear you, but but I hear you.
It's just pain, and that's where you become a man of value, because when you look at it like, it's just pain. It's just fear.
It will subside.
I'm going to acknowledge it when it happens, if it happens. I got people to help me get through it. If I'm scared of something, I'll let you know. We've expressed concerns when things weren't going right, and I'm like, bro, I've never had this happen to me before. Like, my whole aura be off. But it's just because it was something I never was used to. But I'll get through it. I'm gonna get through it. There is no such thing as not getting through it. I'm just not gonna allow fear and pain to keep me from getting through it. Now, if it's something because someone told me this. I can't remember who it was, but God answers your prayers in 3 ways: yes, no, not right now. Because it might not be for you right now.
Right.
So you may need to, and we're talking about this Thursday, you may need to grow your income in order for your outcome to be greater.
Right.
So, yeah, it might not be right now, but what are you going to do in the meantime? Are you still going to try to do it your way, even though you see your way isn't working, and you keep running your head against the wall? Or are you going to try something different, be more impactful?
Right.
Not impactful.
Yeah.
Impactful, so that you can be more impactful.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of pain is an emotion, fear is an emotion, just like love, just like everything else. It's an emotion.
Yeah.
And it's not going to carry you through. Faith will carry you through.
Yeah.
So, it's difficult, but it's simple at the same time.
Yeah, you just need a constant reminder. And I think like this show is me, for me and everybody who's watching, like this is a constant reminder that you can get through anything. It's having the correct strategy, right? The correct tactics, because you need that. You need a plan, right? You need an escape plan, right? Because if you walk in any building, first thing you can see on the wall is what? Is their escape plan.
Evacuation,
Just in case.
Just in case.
So
our car insurance.
Yep.
Just in case.
Medical insurance, just in case.
Just in case.
So I think this has been a really good take on how to become a man of value.
Yeah.
Because I believe it starts with the emotional side, and then once you get a handle on that, then that creates the actual income side, right? So there's so many factors to becoming, like there's no one ingredient to make the best chicken on earth, right?
No.
Of course, I said chicken because I'm black, right?
That's racist.
right. But if you put in some pepper or some seasoned salt, whatever, I mean, it makes it even better.
Right.
So and becoming a man of value, there's no one thing that you can do, right?
No.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's not one
There's
thing
no
that
one
matters,
way.
one way, right? But I think it starts up here,
Yeah.
in a peer. What you got for some closing?
Control your mindset, master your mindset, because we're anatomically built to master our mindset. That's why our brains are at the top.
Yeah.
It dictates everything else. Our brain dictates our heart, our lungs, our liver, everything. So master your mindset. Know who you are when nobody's watching.
Right.
Know who you are when you're all alone.
Right.
And don't be afraid to live in the world. And don't be afraid to say no, because you can't please everybody all the time.
Right.
So why try?
Right.
You're searching for perfection, and that'll never happen.
Right.
So we talk about that all the time.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I got.
Cool. Well, thanks, bro. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the podcast. Thanks for being a part of our show. As always, like, share, subscribe. There are people out there that need this as much as we do, as much as you do. So share the podcast, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Peace out.
Peace out.